Welcome to lesson 10 and 11 on interactions and interdependence. During these lessons, we're going to be finishing off lots of bits and bobs. So you're going to spend 2 hours in total on these activities. You must not move on to another activity until you have finished the one before it. Remember, you spend 2 hours in total. So let's start with activity 1, which is to complete your sustainable development cards from last lesson. So you need to finish all of those off, then take a photograph, just one of all of the backs of them, or as many as you can fit in. And then you need to upload these to week 5 sustainable development cards. Once you have uploaded these, you have completed activity 1 and you can move on to activity 2. Please pause the video now before you move on to the next activity. Only move on once you have completed the previous activity. Let's move on to activity 2. Okay, so for activity 2, you need to go to week 5 and click on lesson 10 and 11. Click on shared items and you will see for number 3 it says watch and then there's a link. So number 3, click on the link and it will take you to my YouTube channel, and then there is a video about conservation. I think it's one of my best, guys, and all I'd like you to do is to watch the video. You don't need to take any notes or anything, and you can watch it as many times as you like. Please pause the video now before you move on to the next activity. Only move on once you have completed the previous activity. Okay, moving on to activity 3. Activity 3 is a big one. We're going to be going back and looking at all of our work from this half term to check we've done it all. I want you to do this even if you think you've done everything. I want you to follow the videos exactly to make sure that you've checked properly. Okay, so let's start by clicking on the blue folder called Week 1 in our Year Science Showbie. So the blue folder called Week 1. So then what you need to do is click on shared items and then click on what is called thumbnail. Now that shows you what you should have uploaded, except obviously yours shouldn't be blank. It should be what your mark is, okay? So make sure you know what you're uploading. Okay, so then you need to look for your own name along the sidebar, and then you need to click on your name and check that you have uploaded that picture. If you haven't, you need to make sure you do so now. So if you haven't, make sure you do so now. No one else can see it, so can you do it even if your parents emailed it to me? That was when we thought that people could see it, but no one can see it, okay? Pause this video now, check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. Okay, so now we're going to click on week 2, which is the pink folder. And then we're going to look at the assignments in here. There are 3 assignments. We're going to start by clicking on food chains. Then you're going to click into shared items in food chains. And you're going to click on the perfect piece of work example. So well done, George Gutteridge. So you can see here that George has drawn everything beautifully. He has got his arrows pointing in the correct direction, and he has labelled underneath everything thoroughly. So he's got his plants labelled as producers, then his animals, herbivore, primary consumer, omnivore, apex predator. So I'm looking for a piece of work of that quality, all right? So then you need to go along to the sidebar and look for yourself. And once you've found yourself, you need to click onto you. Remember, no one else can see your work. So if you have 2 out of 2, that means that your work was great and I don't think you need any changes, but I'd still like you to click on it and just listen to my feedback and also compare your work to the perfect piece. If you got 1 out of 2, that's not a bad thing. It just means that there may be a small change that you need to make. So don't worry at all, but click on your work and then listen to the feedback. So if you click onto the picture that you sent me, So I'm clicking on Matthew's here. You can see the little symbol SS, that's my voice note. If you click on there, and then you can press play and listen to what I've actually said, okay? If you haven't uploaded anything, then obviously you need to upload that. If you just need to improve it, then you need to improve it and re-upload it. And if you just need to listen to feedback, that will be even quicker. Pause this video now. Check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. Okay, so on to food webs. So click onto food web, click onto the perfect work example, another George, well done George Kenyon. If you want to zoom in, you can double click and it will zoom in. So why this is such a good piece of work is he's used it to colour coding. He's got all of his primary, secondary, tertiary consumers labelled. He's got herbivore, omnivore, carnivore, and he's got his trophic levels. He's used colours to show the different trophic levels. So once you've had a good look at that, find your piece of work again, click in. If you've got 2 out of 2, you just need to listen to the feedback. If you've got 1 out of 2, you need to make improvements using the perfect piece as an example. And then you need to upload your improved work. And if you haven't uploaded anything, then you need to make sure that you upload that now, okay? Pause this video now. Check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. Last piece of work in week 2, you need to click on limiting factors comic strip. There's a lot of work missing here, boys, so I would like these uploaded. Click onto shared items and look at the perfect example, which is James Mendelssohn's. I'm just going to zoom in here. So he has done such fantastic pictures that really illustrate each of the points really well. So I suggest having a really good look at that, especially his picture for fertility, which I think lots of people struggled with. He's got a panda in a zoo because pandas really struggle to have babies in zoos. So it's a brilliant, clever example. Well done, James. So once you've had a look at the perfect example, you need to go to the sidebar. You need to find yourself. If you have no work there, you need to upload it now. If you have a 1 out of 2, you need to improve your work and then upload it. And if you have a 2 out of 2, you just need to listen to my feedback by clicking on the voice note. Remember, there's no blame involved in not having any work up yet. I just want you to get it on now. Pause this video now. Check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. So now we need to click in week 3, the yellow folder. And there are only 2 things you have to upload here. So we'll go to graph drawing first. So you're going to click on graph drawing. Then you're going to click on shared items once again. And then you're going to have a look at the perfect example piece of work, which is Matthew Heaney's. Well done, Matthew. I'm going to zoom in. So you can see that he's labelled both his axes. He's got nice straight lines for his axes. His crosses are nice and clear and neat, so well done. Then you need to find yourself on the sidebar. If you haven't uploaded any work, you need to upload it now. If you have got a 1 out of 2, you need to make improvements and then re-upload. And if you if you have a 2 out of 2, you just need to listen to your feedback, please. Pause this video now. Check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. Okay, still in week 3, so we're going to click on method writing. We're going to go to shared items, and it's Matthew Behan's method. Double click so that you can read it properly. He's used bullet points. They're nice and short and concise. It's very clear. And most importantly, what most people didn't do, his last bullet point is the formula, which was in red on my method. So a lot of people didn't do that. So go find yourself in the sidebar. If you haven't uploaded anything, upload it. If you need to make improvements, make improvements. If you need to just listen to feedback, listen to feedback. I gave lots of people 2 out of 2, even if they didn't do the formula that was in red. So even if you got 2 out of 2, you might want to add that on now. Pause this video now. Check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. Okay, so click on to week 4, which is the red folder. And in the red folder for week 4, there are 2 things that we have to upload. I want you to focus first of all on the conservation speech. So please click on conservation speech, then click on shared items. And I would like you to click on Timmy Accarelli's work, and I would like you to read through it. It is an absolutely brilliant piece of writing. It's so clear. Each reason is so fantastic and so scientific. I think it's brilliant. Well done, Timmy. Then I would like you to listen to Sam Dooley's speech. Please listen to the whole thing. His is more about the ethical side of things, but it's absolutely brilliant and shows a different side of things. So well done, Sam. Once you have finished listening to Sam's speech and reading Timmy's, go along to the sidebar and check, have you uploaded a piece of work? If so, did you only get 1 out of 2 and you need to make some revisions to it? If you got 2 out of 2, you need to check my feedback. I don't mind whether you upload a written piece of work, whether you upload a voice note, or whether you upload a video. Everything is fine. And don't worry if you got 1 out of 2. As I said, this is difficult stuff and it just means you need a little bit of improving. Pause this video now, check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place, and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. Okay, so now you're going to click on conservation presentation and go to shared items. Now at the moment there isn't a perfect piece of work. There's only my one, which is only 2 pages long. I haven't got a whole plan there. So hopefully by the time this video goes out, someone will have produced a perfect piece of work and I will put that up there. If not, I will extend my own one so that it's a thorough piece of work. But either way, there'll be a perfect item which you have to look through, please. Then you need to check through the sidebar as to whether you've uploaded it. Obviously, at the moment, there aren't any there. So it needs to be uploaded. You need to check any feedback. You need to make any improvements that I've suggested, please. Pause this video now. Check that you have uploaded the correct piece of work in the correct place and make sure you've listened to any feedback and improved it if necessary. So you should therefore be all up to date and have every piece of work uploaded that you need to and have improved it. If that took you the whole 2 hours, that's fine, you can stop now. If not, you can move on. Okay, so we're going to move on to activity 4, but you only do this if you haven't already spent 2 hours working. So for this activity, you can choose to either do the picture glossary at the back of your booklet, or you can choose to do the word search activity at the back of your booklet, either or. Please pause the video now before you move on to the next activity. Only move on once you have completed the previous activity. Moving on to activity 5, but again, only if you haven't already spent 2 hours working. So for this activity, we're going to do some revision of the topic. So I always recommend doing revision cards. If you don't have any cards, then you can just cut up some paper. But if you prefer, you could do a revision mind map or however you prefer to revise. Don't forget to use the summary notes at the back of the booklet. I wouldn't recommend spending more than 30 minutes revising. Please pause the video now before you move on to the next activity. Only move on once you have completed the previous activity. Okay, so activity 6, remember, only do this if you haven't already spent 2 hours working. So at the back of your booklet, there's a couple of exam questions, so have a go at the questions and then once you've done them, mark them. What's important, remember, is to write the corrections, so write in what you did wrong. Please pause the video now before you move on to the next activity. Only move on once you have completed the previous activity. If you've gotten to here, it means that you've done every single possible thing, so well done, very big well done. And I would just like to wish you a very happy half term, boys, and I really hope that I will see you next half term.